A federal judge has handed down a significant sentence targeting high-ranking military officials. These officials were deeply embedded within Pemex, Mexico's state-owned oil giant, a company vital to the nation's economy. Their crime? Orchestrating systematic fuel theft on a massive scale, diverting resources that should have benefited all Mexicans. This illegal practice is widely known as huachicoleo, a term that has become synonymous with corruption and organized crime in Mexico. These weren't petty criminals operating on the fringes, they were individuals holding positions of power and trust. They were entrusted with safeguarding the nation's most valuable resource, the very lifeblood of the Mexican economy, yet they betrayed that trust for personal gain. Their convictions expose a sophisticated criminal network, a web of corruption that has been allowed to fester for far too long. This network was brazenly operating from within Pemex's own security apparatus, the very department designed to prevent such crimes. The message is clear. Military rank no longer guarantees impunity. No one is above the law, regardless of their position or influence. For years, huachicoleo was conveniently blamed on small-time thieves, low-level operators trying to scrape by. But this case reveals a top-down operation, meticulously planned and protected by Pemex insiders at the highest levels. The convicted officials were not acting alone. They were key subordinates of General Eduardo León Trauwitz. Trauwitz was the former head of Pemex's physical security, the man ultimately responsible for preventing fuel theft. This verdict is not just about a few men facing justice. It's an indictment of the entire system that Trauwitz allegedly built and oversaw, a system rotten to its core. Each conviction tightens the net around the fugitive general, who remains at large, evading justice. These convictions are meticulously laying the groundwork for a larger, more comprehensive case against Trauwitz and his entire network. Fuel theft has drained billions from public coffers, money that could have been used for schools, hospitals, and infrastructure. It has also fueled cartel violence, empowering criminal organizations, and destabilizing entire regions of the country. And perhaps most damaging of all, it has eroded trust in institutions, leaving citizens feeling betrayed and disillusioned. When those meant to protect become the thieves, when the guardians become the perpetrators, public faith collapses, leading to widespread cynicism and social unrest. This ruling, while significant, is only a first step in dismantling a vast and complex criminal enterprise. This enterprise is deeply rooted in the Mexican state, intertwined with powerful interests and long-standing patterns of corruption. The challenge ahead is nothing less than rooting out corruption that has flourished for years, demanding systemic reform and unwavering commitment. The battle is far from over, and many obstacles remain in the pursuit of justice. But the wall of impunity, once seemingly impenetrable, has finally cracked, offering a glimmer of hope. The nation watches with bated breath, eager to see if justice will finally reach the very top of this corrupt pyramid. The story is just beginning, and the fight for a more just and equitable Mexico continues. The convictions put faces to Pemex's corruption. Lieutenant Colonel Wenceslao Cardenas Gomez, head of Pemex's security, and Major Ivan Tanuri Cervantes, regional commander in Guanajuato, were central to the scheme. Their roles gave them control over critical regions plagued by fuel theft. Alongside them, other military officers formed a chain of command, ensuring stolen fuel flowed and official patrols looked away. All were direct subordinates of General Trauwitz, making his denial of involvement increasingly untenable. The case proves the conspiracy ran deep, implicating not just the top brass, but a network of complicit officers. The legal noose tightens around the general. The operation at its core was remarkably simple in concept, a plan that seemed almost too straightforward to be true, but its execution demanded military precision, a level of coordination and timing usually reserved for complex strategic maneuvers. High-ranking officials within Pemex skillfully manipulated pipeline pressure, creating the perfect conditions. This manipulation made it safe and relatively easy for outside accomplices to tap into the pipelines and steal fuel with minimal risk of detection. They meticulously coordinated with various criminal cells operating throughout the region, providing them with exact times, precise locations, and detailed instructions for the illicit theft operations. Any alarms triggered by the inevitable pressure drops were conveniently dismissed as mere technical glitches or routine maintenance issues. Pemex security patrols, ostensibly in place to protect the pipelines and deter theft. Instead, they actively escorted convoys of trucks laden with stolen fuel, ensuring their safe passage and shielding them from unwanted attention. The organizational structure of this network closely mirrored the rigid hierarchy of the military, with Trauwitz positioned firmly at the top, his trusted lieutenants strategically managing different regions, and a network of officers ensuring absolute secrecy and unwavering loyalty. State resources, meant to serve the public good, were brazenly repurposed as tools for organized crime. This was not a case of mere opportunism or isolated incidents. It was a meticulously planned, highly disciplined, and ruthlessly executed top-down heist, orchestrated from within the highest echelons of power. The system's remarkable success depended entirely on unwavering loyalty, absolute secrecy, and iron-fisted control at every level. The result, one of the largest, most audacious, and sustained thefts in the entire history of Mexico. A staggering blow to the nation's economy and its people. General Eduardo León Trauwitz, once Pemex's top security chief, is now a fugitive. Appointed under President Peña Nieto, he allegedly used his power to orchestrate fuel theft on a national scale. When the investigation closed in, Trauwitz vanished, likely tipped off by powerful allies. Interpol issued a red notice, but his whereabouts remain unknown. His escape highlights the reach of his support network and the challenges of prosecuting high-level corruption. Meanwhile, his defense files legal challenges to stall justice. As his subordinates serve time, Trauwitz remains a symbol of impunity. His capture is seen as essential for true accountability. Huachicoleo, or fuel theft, has become a massive drain on Mexico's economy, costing the nation billions of pesos annually. It's a sophisticated criminal enterprise that bleeds resources from the state-owned oil company, Pemex, and ultimately, the Mexican people. In 2018 alone, the losses amounted to over 65 billion pesos. This staggering figure represents a significant blow to the national budget and economic stability. This money, instead of lining the pockets of criminals, could have been invested in vital public services, such as building much-needed hospitals, modernizing schools, and developing critical infrastructure projects. But instead, it fueled the expansion and power of organized crime syndicates, and further deepened Pemex's already significant financial woes, pushing the company closer to the brink. At its peak, the scale of the operation was truly astounding, with over 600 tanker trucks worth of fuel being siphoned off and stolen daily. The operation wasn't just petty theft, it was an industrial-scale undertaking, requiring a vast and intricate network for tapping into pipelines, secure transport, and the establishment of a sophisticated black market sales network. The damage extended far beyond the immediate loss of fuel. It necessitated costly pipeline repairs, led to devastating environmental disasters from fuel spills, and significantly increased security costs to protect the pipelines, all of which further drained already scarce resources. Pemex's weakened financial state has become a major national vulnerability, impacting Mexico's energy security and overall economic stability. The sheer scale of the theft suggests that it was only possible with a degree of institutional complicity, raising serious questions about corruption within Pemex and the government. Ultimately, the cost of this widespread corruption and fuel theft is paid by every Mexican citizen, hindering the nation's progress and prosperity. President López Obrador made fighting huachicoleo, or fuel theft, a top priority when he took office in 2018. The government then deployed thousands of soldiers and the newly formed National Guard to guard pipelines, even shutting them down completely to disrupt the widespread theft. This drastic action caused significant fuel shortages, but it aimed to break the criminal network's powerful grip. Simultaneously, authorities targeted the financial and institutional enablers, freezing suspicious accounts and prosecuting corrupt insiders. The two-pronged strategy successfully slashed fuel theft by over 90%, though, inevitably, new tactics emerged. Criminals quickly adapted, shifting their focus to hijacking fuel trucks and directly targeting refineries. The fight is ongoing and constantly evolving as criminals continually change their methods. The battle for Mexico's valuable resources continues on multiple fronts. The convictions of Trauwitz's men mark a breakthrough in Mexico's fight against corruption. For the first time, a court has exposed an organized criminal enterprise within Pemex's highest ranks. Yet, as long as Trauwitz remains free, justice is incomplete. His evasion underscores the power of entrenched networks. The case is a test of Mexico's resolve to dismantle systemic corruption. True reform requires more than arrests. It demands institutional change. The Pemex scandal is both a warning and a hope. Impunity can be challenged, but the fight is far from over. The final verdict will be written only when the fugitive general faces justice.